Hey guys, Ash here from Really Fit. Thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to be talking about my daily nutritional habits and why I follow them, and kind of talking about body types and stuff too. So I figured the easiest way, I kind of thought of a couple different ways of approaching this, but the easiest way to approach it is to kind of start at the beginning of the day and kind of walk you guys through it. And then I'm also going to tell you what I ate today and what I'm going to be eating tomorrow to give you guys some more examples. So how I start my day. Recently, I've been starting my day with tea. So I actually have a black tea in the morning, and then often I put gelatin in it. I find that if I put gelatin in it, I don't get nauseous, because tea can make me nauseous if I have it on an empty stomach. So lately I've been having that with gelatin. We do recommend on Really Fit Online that you wake up and you have hot lemon water or warm lemon water, followed by your green juice. But I have noticed lately that when I have those, it makes me feel nauseous. That's changed since having Rowan, and I've given it a shot a couple times, but it doesn't seem to work for me. And I'm sure I'll get there. Hey, Ash. But for now, I'm just listening to my body, and I'm really enjoying my green juice in the morning. So I have it like later in the morning. So this is how I start my day. So I start my day, I wake up, I'm like, okay, I love my tea in the morning. I put on the kettle, I make my black tea. I don't put any dairy, any sugar in it. I think it's a horrible way to start your day. Okay, you should not be starting your day with sugar and dairy. So I have black tea, but sometimes and often with gelatin in it. And I put about 1 tablespoon in it in the morning. Following this, I have breakfast. I often have a smoothie for breakfast. So I don't have protein powders anymore. So in my smoothie today, which is typically what I have in my smoothies, I just vary on the fruit. So today I had a banana, I had raspberries, lemon, about half a lemon. It had chia seeds, hemp hearts, more gelatin, and almond milk. So, and I have like 2 hefty glasses. This is water, by the way. Just realized I'm hanging on to that. So I have 2 hefty glasses of that. So it's quite a bit. And to be truthful, I actually put in 2 bananas, and I put in like tons of fruit, because I also give some to Rowan and Matt. So, but I have the biggest amount of that. So that's how I start my day. And then following that, later in the morning, I've been having my green juice then. So that's when I have my green juice. And then I move later into the day, and I have different things for lunch, but I'm gonna get there in a moment. But I wanted to kind of give you an idea of how I start my day, but before I go on for the rest of the day, I wanna go over how I kind of like rule my food. So like my daily habits and the rules I create for myself. So the first one I alluded to was the black tea. I also encourage this for coffee drinkers. So you have your tea or your coffee black. Some people like to put almond milk in it. Some people like to have the coconut oil in their coffee, and they blend it up, and it kind of makes it like a latte, like a frothy latte, which is awesome. I just really, one of my food rules is I do not wake up and there's absolutely no milk, absolutely no cow's dairy, no cream, no sugar, no anything. I don't think that's a really good way to start your day. I think it makes you bloated, and I think you're setting yourself up to crave more of that throughout the day. Does having the green juice later not defeat the purpose of it? Yes, if you're looking for the detox effect. So for people that really need to kind of like kickstart their diet and get the detox effects, yes, you need to have that in the morning. And I at the risk of sounding conceited, like I don't really look for that anymore. I'm not looking for the detox. I feel really lean. I feel really healthy. So for me, it's more of like an energy boost that I like in the morning. And you still get all the benefits of it. Like you still get all the fiber and like all of the obviously nutritional benefits of all the fruit and vegetables I put in it. But I don't have it in the morning like we typically recommend, because it makes me feel bad, but I'm not looking for that detox anymore, Ash. So that's when we really encourage you guys to make sure that you have the green juice in the morning on an empty stomach. No problem. Okay, so that's my number 1 food rule. Start your day, if you like to have your caffeine black or with a little bit of almond milk or like a cashew, whatever it is, like some dairy-free milk, no sugar. I sometimes tell people if they're really trying to get off the sugar, sure, put a little bit of maple syrup or a little bit of honey in it, but you're still setting your body and your palate up to want more sugar. So I don't think this is a really good start to your day. And you set the stage at the beginning of your day, okay? So start with anything that is, if you like your caffeine, that's black, or you can have an herbal tea or whatever, but I like my caffeine, so that's how I have it. And then, okay, so the next one, and then I'll get more back into how I eat, is 3 liters of water. There's a lot of debate on this. So at the risk of having people give me all of their opinions, I noticed for me that I have the flattest stomach, I feel the most energized, and my skin looks the most hydrated if I commit to 3 liters of water a day. Sometimes I include my green juice within this, 3 liter amount. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes like today I had my green juice, and then I also had 3 liters of water above and beyond that. But I also worked out today, and I sweat a lot, and I went out for a walk, and I sweat a lot, and I'm having a bath later, I'll probably sweat some more. So it kind of varies depending on my physical activity and how much I sweat and how much I need. But I always aim for 3 liters of liquid, and my tea and my coffee, anything that's caffeinated or anything that's alcohol doesn't count for that, okay? It doesn't count towards that. So that's another one of my rule. The next one, I have these written down, that's why I'm looking down so I don't start blabbing, is generally I don't have any gluten. And the only exception I make to this is I have sprouted grain breads. Okay, so I just finished a burger and I had it on a sprouted grain bun. I think sprouted grain is much better. It's much more close to nature. It's not as processed. Pantera, stop. It doesn't give you the bloating type properties. The only time this wouldn't work for somebody is if they need to be celiac, okay? So if you can't have any gluten, this does have a little bit of gluten in it, but it's really easy to digest gluten. Where typically things, even whole grain breads, all those things can be really bloating. They can be inflammatory. They can make you crave more foods, especially carbohydrate, sugar type foods. So I like to stay away from gluten. Now, I used to do this because I had a really bad reaction to gluten, and I would break out in hives and I'd get bloated and retain a bunch of water, and I'd basically get a food hangover where like I'd feel like I was foggy, almost like literally like I was hungover, like I'd had too much to drink. So I used to be extremely sensitive to it. I think we all kind of change with our allergies and stuff, and I don't get like that anymore. I've talked about this before. I really think gelatin helped to heal my gut. So I can have some gluten now without any sort of reaction, but before I couldn't even have sprouted grain bread. So if you find you're a really sensitive person, I don't recommend sprouted grain bread, but if you don't find you're super sensitive to gluten, it's an amazing filler for meals. So not that you want to rely on it, but it's just a really quick, easy thing to incorporate into your day, and I probably have sprouted grain bread once a day. So, but one of my food rules is generally no gluten. So I don't have like pastas that aren't gluten-free. I don't have, I'm trying to think of what else besides bread. Cereals that aren't gluten-free, like muffins, any sort of sweets or anything like that. I don't have it unless it's gluten-free. I think it's really inflammatory. And even if some people don't notice that they have a sensitivity to it, generally it's not the best for our gut. So this is one thing I like to stay away from. I've noticed amazing health benefits from it. Even though I don't find I'm as sensitive to it, I don't ever see myself going back and having it on a regular basis because I don't think it's good for us. So I've just stuck to it and I stay away from it. So that's one of my daily food habits. And then the next one, I'm sure you guys have heard me talk plenty about, is cow's dairy. I stay away from cow's dairy. It's very rare that I have cow's dairy, like maybe even once a month. Like it's really not common for me. I find it gives me acne. I find it makes me super bloated, super constipated. I just don't think it's good for people for many reasons, which is a completely separate Facebook Live, or I can link you to the video I've made before on it. Once again, I could probably get a bunch of comments and different opinions on this, but for the hundreds of women that we have helped over the years, the one thing I've seen that's massively consistent with people, even more so than gluten, because gluten's a really trendy thing, is dairy. If people drop dairy, and I'm talking like drop it, like don't even have like a small drop in your tea, the weight starts to come off. And for some people, it doesn't always work, but I would say as a general rule, we've seen massive changes in people's health, people's skin, people's digestion, energy levels, weight loss efforts, everything if they let go of cow's dairy. So that is another one of my food rules. But I do have it sometimes because we're always about the balance. So I'll get into that later. And then the next thing, sorry, I keep looking down, but I just want to make sure I don't miss anything, is I try to make every meal, not necessarily a snack, but I try to make every meal balanced. So, I used to have no carbs, high protein, high fat diet. I don't subscribe to that anymore. I don't think that it lasts for very long. Some people seem to feel good on it, but I still don't think it has a lot of longevity. And I don't think that even mentally, it is really healthy for us to be counting every calorie, every macronutrient, weighing our food or whatever. I think that it causes a lot of self-harm. I think that we're too hard on ourselves. So I don't do that anymore. However, I try to get each meal balanced. So I try to make sure that there's a little bit of fat, a little bit of protein, and a little bit of carbs. I don't count them. I don't care what the ratio is of each one, but I just try to make my meals balanced because I find I'm more satiated like that. I find I don't crave as much food. It's just more filling. And I feel best like that. So yeah, I don't really like portion it out or anything, but I do try to get all my macronutrients in my breakfast, my lunch, and then my dinner. My snacks vary. Sometimes I have all three. Sometimes I just feel like fruit. So that's how I kind of stay away from like the calorie counting and the macronutrient, which is also my next food rule, and my final one is no calorie counting. I don't believe in calorie counting for many reasons. And once again, I'm sure there's gonna be different opinions on it because everything works differently for everyone. But for me and for many women that I've worked with, I find that whenever you step on a scale, you count your calories, it becomes an obsession and it also becomes very obsessive. And there becomes a lot of food guilt that is associated with that. So if you go over your calories or you have too many carbs and all of a sudden you get this food guilt and then it's like a vicious cycle and then you end up overeating later that day and then, oh my God, I feel horrible about myself, and then you restrict your calories the next day to try and make up for it. And I just think it's a really unhealthy way to live. Do I think that people need to be cognizant of how many calories they're consuming in a day? Absolutely. Of course you have to be cognizant of what you're eating, but if you're eating healthy food and you're eating balanced meals, then typically you don't even really have to worry about that because you're going to be energized, you're going to be satiated, and you're going to be fulfilled because you're having super nutritious food all the time. And your body's very happy with that. And it will tell you when you've had enough. So these are my food rules. So I want to go over them one more time. Don't start your day with sugar and dairy, okay? Do not start your day. I never start my day with sugar and dairy. Even on the weekends, even when you're cheating or whatever, I don't start my day with sugar or dairy. I want to start my day, you wake up with a flat stomach, I want to continue with a flat stomach, and I think those things are very inflammatory, and I think that they bloat you, and they set your palate and your brain up for craving more. So that's the first thing. And then the next thing is we typically recommend to have green juice in the morning, but for me lately I've been having it in the later morning because I find it gives me a little bit of an energy burst. And then the next one is 3 liters of water. I'm very anal about this. I just really notice a difference. I notice in my energy first, I notice it in my skin second, in my digestion third, and overall I just feel like my stomach looks flatter when I'm super hydrated. So that's another one. And then in general, I don't have any gluten unless I have, the one exception is I'm having the spread grain bread. And then I like to have IPA beer on the weekend because now I can enjoy it. And it's so nice to be able to drink an IPA beer again now that I've healed my gut. So those are my exceptions there. But in general, on a daily basis, you will not see me hitting up, a bagel stand, any muffins. Cereal, like anything like that has gluten because I don't think that it does us good. I don't think it's good for your digestion. And if your digestion is not working optimally, then you're not going to be optimally losing weight and staying lean and feeling good and energized. So that's my next one. And then my one after that is the cow's dairy. The exception I do make here is goat's dairy. Often people are sensitive to cow's dairy and goat's dairy, but I don't find I am. I find that my body still works pretty well without the goat's dairy, so I really like to include it in my diet because I just find it a little more rich and satisfying than dairy-free stuff. Not that I don't have those things, but anyways, I don't have goat's dairy daily. It's like a couple times a week but that is the exception I make for dairy, but absolutely no cow's dairy. It's very random I do. And then the full balanced meals, so your protein, your carb, your fats, no elimination of carbohydrates. That gets into a very bad cycle for me personally and many women. So that one, and then the no calorie counting and weighing yourself. So, oh my God, Pantera, would you stop it? Sorry guys, love her, but she's really loud and annoying sometimes. So those are my food rules. So now I kind of want to go through to give you a glimpse of what a day in my life of eating looks like with these rules. So today, I'm going to go over what I ate today, and then I'm going to go over what I'm going to be probably eating tomorrow, because this is what I've planned, unless something crazy comes up. So today I started my day with the black tea and gelatin, and then that smoothie I told you about with the bananas, the berries, the lemon, hemp seeds, or hemp hearts, chia seeds, gelatin, and then almond milk. And then after that, then I went and I did a workout. And then after that, I had green juice and a Lar-Bar. So I finished my green juice. I had like a big glass of green juice, and then I followed this up with a Lar-Bar. I have a Lar-Bar every single day. I love them. They are so good. And I find that they're amazing to kind of like get me my sugar fix, because I do crave chocolate. And so I often have the peanut butter and chocolate one. And so that's what I had today after my green juice, and it gave me a little bit of protein. And then for lunch, I had one of those, you know that bag salad, you can get the kale salad, and it comes with like sometimes like Brussels sprouts, spinach, kale, I can't even think of what else, but there's like, and then like red cabbage. So I had that, and then I put an avocado on it, and I put vegan meatballs, and then I had the Pantera, and then I had the poppy seed dressing on it. So that's what I had for lunch. And then I had another tea. So then I had another black tea, Super 7. Yes, thanks Ash. That's exactly what it's called. I didn't sprinkle the pumpkin seeds and the cranberries that come out, the dried cranberries that come with it, but sometimes I do. But I just really like to add in the extra fat for the calories and the fiber and the satiation. So I put I either put an avocado on top, or I have a different dressing that I make at home with peanut butter and seed butter and stuff. So that was what I had for lunch. And then later in the afternoon, I had a little bit more green juice, and then I had some hummus with crackers. So I had just regular hummus, and then I had it with Mary crackers, and then I had a small bite of a blueberry Lar-Bar. And then after that, I actually didn't write this down, but before dinner, when I was feeding Rowan, I had a little bit left over, because she didn't eat it all, of a Indian wrap. So just with like potatoes, peas, Indian spices, onions, and then in a gluten-free wrap. So I had a couple bites of that, and then for dinner, just right before I popped on here, I had a turkey burger, and then I had it on a spread of green burger bun with a slice of vegan cheese, and then I had mustard and spicy ketchup. Delicious. Yes, so that's what I had, and then to finish it off, oh my God, Pantera, get down. Did you stop it? You're so distracting. Okay, not as cute as Rowan. You're annoying sometimes. But anyways, and then to finish it off, I had a couple bites today. I made some rhubarb from my dad's garden, and then I boiled it down, 8 cups of it with 3/4 cups of sugar, and then a half a cup of water. And so I had a couple of spoonfuls of that to kind of like give me like a little bit of dessert. So that's what I had today, and then that's all I'll be having. I'll be having, yeah, cats, but so annoying. She's going psychotic. I don't know what's wrong with her. So yeah, that's what I had today, and then I won't be having anything else after. I'll just be having lots of water, maybe some lemon water, and then having a bath. So, and then tomorrow, I'll be starting the same in the morning, and then for lunch, I'm going to be having banana pancakes, and I make them with bananas, oatmeal. I put like pumpkin seeds in them. I put sunflower seeds in them. I put hemp hearts in them. Like I put a whole bunch of like, you know, healthy fats and healthy proteins. And then I top it often with a little bit of peanut butter, or I use butter flavored coconut oil, and then I put a little bit of maple syrup on top. So that's what I'm going to be having for my lunch tomorrow. And then for dinner, I'm supposed to be having a scrambled tofu with like a whole bunch of different vegetables. So that's what we're going to be having on top of quinoa. And then my snacks are the same. So I'll be having my green juice, my Lar-Bars. Sometimes for snacks, I have, instead of like the Mary's crackers, I'll have raw veggies with hummus. But I typically try to get like that high fat stuff in there to get the calories in. Okay, let me go and see what people have said. Oh my God, Pantera, get out of here. Now you guys can see I'm all like really annoying me. Probably you guys don't even notice, but she was annoying the shit out of me. It was very distracting. So yeah, that's what I'll be having tomorrow. And you know, most days typically look like this. And then if I'm gonna have like a little bit of a treat, I'll end up having my IPA beer on the weekend, or sometimes during the week if I feel like it. I'll have dairy-free chocolate chips, and I'll put it in a bowl with some pumpkin seeds if I'm craving something chocolatey. If I'm craving something salty, I'll have popcorn with coconut oil on top and some salt. So this is kind of how like I work health into my day. And then sometimes on the weekends you just, you know, you have a meal that you want. But in general, I eat fairly clean, and I'm very consistent with it, but it's not to say that I don't enjoy myself. Like this past weekend, we went over to my parents for the night, and then I had chips with dip that my dad made, and it was made with cow's dairy, of course. And it's probably the first time I've had it in weeks, and or months, I have no idea. And it was quite delicious. But yeah, so I don't feel guilty about it. So my point is that these are my daily food habits, but it's not to say that I'm obsessive about it, or I feel guilty if I eat bad things. It's just that I feel like I'm very energized and my stomach's flat, my digestion's good, I'm more clear-headed and everything if I'm eating healthy. And so I take a lot of pride in this, and I'm the leanest now I've ever been after having a child, and it's because I have these really good nutritional habits. So yeah, this is kind of how I run through a day. Now let me go over, I'm gonna answer some people's questions. Let me just see if there's anything I've missed. There's a lot of people on here. Everyone, you guys are awesome. Love the beer glass, I know. Sorry guys, I wasn't even thinking about that. Same here, I need to have green juice later in the day. Yeah, I don't know what changed after having Rowan. It honestly makes me nauseous in the morning. And then later in the morning, it's delicious. Like, so bizarre. Probably in my head, but whatever. Okay, sorry guys. You can probably just see my finger. I know I saw some people asking stuff. Yes, Larabars. I know, Courtney, they're freaking amazing. And you're a Larabar rep. I need to be a Larabar rep too, because I promote them all the time. Where do you get your Larabars? We get them from, actually the cheapest ones, Erin, because you live in Whippy, are up Brock and Taunton at that superstore there. I don't know why, and please don't tell them, because you know, they're unbeknownst to them, they're like 50% less than they are at any other Loblaws. They're $16 instead of almost $30. So, and we get a pack of 16. So yeah, that's where we get our Larabars, but some people order them off well.ca. I used to get them at Costco, but they don't sell them there anymore, but they do sell the Larabar balls, and they're quite good, but I like the actual bar to take with me because I can pack it in my purse and basically take it anywhere. That's where I get my Larabars. I can't fit that much food in my work day, barely fit in lunch. I can't really help you there. I'd have to talk to your boss about that. But yeah, I eat a lot, and it makes a huge difference, because if you were to talk to me, although I think Morgan, you almost knew me 10 years ago. If you talked to me 10 years ago, I did not eat this much. I didn't eat a lot. I actually counted my calories and tried to stay within 1,200 calories a day, which is insane now that I think of that. But yeah, I thrive off eating this much food. I feel the best when I eat this much food, and my body responds best to it. And yeah, so sorry, I can't help you there. Do you recommend probiotics? Yes. Oh, that is I don't know if I should put that in, because it is a daily thing I do. I do have probiotics every day. I actually get Udo's, was recommended to me by a naturopath, but sometimes I just end up going and getting whatever's on sale. So, and sometimes it's also good to get different strains of probiotics. So I do have a probiotic every day, and I'm happy to say, from somebody that used to get constipated all the time, like I'm talking like up to like 5 to 10 days constipated. It was awful, it was painful. I actually go like 1 to 3 times a day now. So, and I can thank healthy eating and probiotics for that. Where do you get your calcium from? Well, I get my calcium from mostly chia seeds. You get tons from chia seeds. Actually often more than you get from milk, and it's more bioavailable. And I get it from leafy greens. Like, it's actually in lots of fruits and vegetables that you wouldn't think of. Not really fruits, but vegetables. And when I have goat's dairy. So that's where I get my calcium from. And just an interesting fact, Morgan, that it's actually starting to be proven that countries that have the most cow's dairy in their diet actually have the highest rate of osteoporosis. So think about that. So the thing that we keep on being told that's supposed to give us the most calcium and be the best for our bones, you know, milk does a body good, strong bones. we're actually the ones that typically have the highest incidence of osteoporosis. So you can get calcium. There's lots of vegans out there that get calcium without eating any dairy products. You're welcome, Erin. Anybody else? Do the probiotics ever make you feel nauseous? No, but I know people say that they do if they sometimes have them on an empty stomach. So they could make you feel like that if you have them on an empty stomach, Trina. So yeah, don't have them on an empty stomach. I actually usually have them with dinner. But yeah, so that's that. Any other questions? Does anybody have any other questions I haven't gone over yet? There's a lot of people on here, so I'm sorry if I miss anything. I'm trying to like scroll through quickly, but anything else? No? So should I wrap it up then? God, I wish you guys talked more. It's, you know, it's weird sometimes talking to a freaking phone and by yourself having a one-sided conversation when nobody talks back. Oh yay, another question. Hey, Melissa Sharoness, I haven't seen you in a long time. Welcome. What about kimchi? I'm not familiar with it, Leslie. I wish I had some info on that, but I would have to get back to you. I really don't know about much about kimchi at all. So I don't really have much to say unless you have something to tell me. So yeah, not in my diet. Anything else? No? Okay, let me do a quick wrap up then, guys. Quickest wrap up I can possibly do. My daily nutritional habits: black tea, black coffee, no dairy, no sugar, gelatin if you want, non-dairy if you want. If you need to get off the sugar, go honey and maple syrup, but even try to get off that. Have your green drink if you can before that, but if you're like me and you can't stomach it, then have your green tea later. But if you want the detoxification effects of the green juice, then make sure that, or if I said green tea, but green juice, then make sure you have it first thing in the morning before you have anything acidic, which coffee and tea are. I also have 3 liters of water a day. I am anal about that, which is, this is not wine. I have no gluten with the exception of spreaded grain bread, or if I'm like going out somewhere randomly and I want to have a treat, but it's not rare. It's definitely not a daily habit at all. It's probably not even a weekly habit. No cow's dairy, same thing. This is probably almost not even a monthly habit of mine. This is something these are things that I really attribute to staying lean and staying healthy and staying consistently energized and feeling good. And then balanced meals without counting calories, without weighing yourself, and yeah, and not counting macronutrients. So those are my food rules, and I'm happy to come on here for the next 24 hours and let you guys know or answer any of your questions if you have anything else that you want to ask. You can also personally message me if you have any questions, because they might be personal and about poo, and not everyone talks about poo on here. So that's up to you. But yeah, I'm not an expert in everything, but I feel like I've learned a lot for myself because I went through so many health issues in my mid-20s. And I've learned so much from my clients that I feel like I can help you guys too. So I hope this was beneficial. You're welcome, Morgan. I hope this is beneficial. And oh, thanks, Ratika. So nice to see you on here. I didn't even know you were on. But yeah, so I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you guys join again. This is a much happier Facebook Live than last week, so let's keep doing this. Hey, you're welcome, Sarah. And yeah, cheers, guys. I'm gonna go have a sweaty bath now. It's detoxifying too. And if you hopped on halfway through, go back to the beginning. Although I reiterated stuff a lot and went through it a lot, I want to hear. I want to know that you guys watched it all and hear if you have any questions. Whoops. All right. Take care, guys. Bye.